I'm Dr. Charles Young, Chancellor of UCLA. Not much more than 50 years ago, this spot where I'm standing was farmland. Today, it is the home of one of America's leading universities and research centers, UCLA. The rapid growth and development of UCLA has been unmatched in the academic world. I'm often asked how we came so far so fast and achieved so much. The answer is simple: people. This film tells the exciting story of UCLA today. Since we first opened our doors, more than 200,000 UCLA students have received their graduate and undergraduate degrees. What all of our graduates share is a common heritage of professors dedicated to quality and innovative teaching. For the last 14 years, teaching Latin American history to undergraduates has been a way of life for Professor Brad Burns.
The mainspring or the wellspring for revolution is hope. Once people have a sense of hope, it's not the people who are downtrodden, whose faces are pushed into the mud. As a teacher, I feel that one of my primary goals is to interest the students in the class, to arouse their curiosity. Anyone else want to add to this?
I thought there was a symbol of hope that wasn't really love and wasn't really religious either.
Okay, what was that? The sort of class I teach depends on a certain amount of give and take.
Pentecost.
I see.
So, which again is like a sign of hope.
I do find students who are outspoken, who are willing to share their ideas.
Hope is pervasive over time. I mean, it survives time. In other words, he kept stamping it out, but it kept popping up somewhere else.
I received leading questions, insights.
Her love, she was infatuated with her baby.
Craig, you seem to be falling into the minority here. Oh, you agree with Craig, do you? The give and take is complementary to my own intellectual growth. And the novel is on so many levels. It's kind of a situation that I thrive on. As a historian, I tend to be, despite all evidence to the contrary, very hopeful.
A theory isn't the same thing as what's out there. The theory is the picture that we have in our head about what's out there.
Pat French is an associate professor of psychology. Both in and outside of class, she brings a special energy to her teaching and lecturing.
People are individual. Where our experiences are different than someone else's, we won't feel the same about something. We won't see it the same. We won't notice the same things out there. And in a sense, you could say that being human is the very idea of talking about this reality and, in a sense, transcending it, if only for a few moments. The idea is to become fearless when faced with new information. But because we can talk about it, we can manipulate it, to realize that they can go out and read anything in the entire world, that nothing is over their head, that, in a sense, the intellectual world is their oyster. Taking one image in our head, dumping it, putting a new image in our head, and letting each one show us something different.
In 1929, UCLA moved to its new four-building Westwood campus. As Los Angeles and Southern California grew, so did UCLA. Today, our 411-acre campus houses some of the finest academic and research facilities in the world, including 13 colleges, graduate and professional schools, 18 libraries, and some 24 separate research centers, where specialists explore almost every field of academic and scientific endeavor.
I think I would like to carry on the process long enough so that there's enough energy gained by the particles so that we can have a meaningful fusion reaction to take place.
Right. Dr. Robert Taylor and his research team are part of the Center for Plasma Physics and Fusion Engineering. Utilizing state-of-the-art equipment, Dr. Taylor's team is working to harness the power of nuclear fusion as a limitless energy source for the future.
I wanted to find a technology which is quite challenging in the long term and that is socially desirable and has long-term implication of the life in Earth. And of course, the fusion type of energy source would totally make not only us, but all the other nations energy independent from each other, so that no nation on the Earth would want to seek the energy resources of another.
A junior, Dot Richardson, plays shortstop for our NCAA championship softball team. Dot takes pride in being a part of UCLA's unique athletic tradition.
Teamwork is the #1 thing. Everyone putting all that they've got into playing the game and winning the game and performing the best that they can. When you put UCLA's uniform on and you have UCLA across your chest, you feel so proud. And it's the greatest feeling because everyone is so blue and gold.
From the beginning, UCLA has stood for the best in intercollegiate athletics and sportsmanship. Our distinguished winning tradition includes NCAA championships in just about every major sport. While the list of UCLA athletes and coaches reads like a who's who of American sport.
Ducky, I'm really proud of UCLA and the progress which it's made over the years since days when you coached me here on this track.
A member of the class of 1941, Mayor Tom Bradley looks back fondly on his UCLA years.
My mother and father were sharecroppers in Texas, and they pounded into my head that the key to success and happiness in life was a college education. And I determined to devote my time to athletics because I thought that through that means I might be able to get a scholarship to UCLA. Well, I think the kind of training which we get in a setting like this, the competition, the spirit, all helps you in whatever you undertake in life. I know it's been good for me. The challenge of UCLA permitted me to dig deeper and to work harder and to gain greater knowledge. And that's the spirit, that's the sense that people who have attended UCLA have. It is the place of opportunity. It is a place which doesn't put up barriers.
Like Mayor Bradley before him, Jesse Coronado has found UCLA to be a place of opportunity. Born in Mexico, raised in West Los Angeles, Jesse served 8 years in the U.S. Army before coming here. In his senior year, he was elected editor of the Daily Bruin.
Okay, because Louis Chitty from the election support.
We're looking at the files here still. Yeah, we're trying to get one of them at a rally instead of just them standing up against a wall.
Okay, well, this is the layout we have. It's a large paper. It's 40 pages at 66%.
66, that's good. Our paper is one of the larger ones in the country. Our budget this year exceeds $1 million. We have a staff of probably around 130. How's the cover issue coming?
Okay, I think it's going to work out. How's this for our new section on LA?
It's breaking new ground because I guess I'm the first minority editor for the paper.
If you're going to use color, you have to make sure that you talk to
And it kind of opens up the door for others that might follow in my steps.
Were you looking for me?
Yeah, I'm having a problem. Ivania called from SLC, and they want to place an 8-page supplement for the Voter Awareness Week.
Yeah, I talked to them.
If my example can help one other person to get into university, somebody that's in a gang right now or that has problems at home can look at me and say, well, if he can make it, I can make it.
It looks pretty good. It's good facial expression.
And I think that's really the most satisfying thing.
Greg, in measure 11, if you could, I want you to bring your part out more.
Mezzo piano? Or?
Yeah.
How long is the forte on the forte piano?
Just like an eighth note worth. I want this forte piano to be...
Lucas Richmond, a sophomore, is a talented composer. Today, he rehearses for the premiere of his first string quartet.
Let's take it from the top. I feel very fortunate to be able to create and compose music, and I enjoy performing. Music really touches down deep. There's a spiritual connection that goes on when people are making music together. It goes beyond communication with words. It's hard to describe, but it's a wonderful feeling to be able to express oneself with music.
The arts are the only thing that live on forever. And I happen to think that the most important place for the arts is on a university campus.
And then reach through your plie. Give me your back. Now fly with these arms.
At UCLA, the performing and visual arts have always found a welcome home.
Hold it, hold it.
Our arts programs attract students, faculty, and visiting artists who are among the finest in their field.
And no.
When you begin any cross-examination, you want to engage in the following steps. If you've determined that the witness on direct has actually said some things that may be harmful to your theory of the case, then the first thing you want to do is remember to consider whether the witness has said anything that's favorable, so that you can remember to repeat the favorable testimony.
Carrie Minkle-Meadow is an acting professor at UCLA's School of Law.
In a very short period of time, the UCLA Law School has climbed to the very top of the nation's law schools. It's done so because it's been interested in innovation, in creativity, and different kinds of programs. Attempt to use those principles in the case of Binberg versus Powder.
I'm ready, Your Honor.
You may proceed, counsel.
Ms. Hirosaki, you testified that it was Mr. Binberg who...
An important aspect of the law school's innovative curriculum are clinical education courses like this one, where law students conduct mock trials based on real cases.
The other robber was behind you.
That's right.
At any time did you see the person who was standing behind you?
Yeah, I saw him when he first walked into the store.
It's our feeling or philosophy about clinical education that there is no substitute, that what we're teaching is professional responsibility.
And you only got a good view of the person who was standing in front of you, correct?
So that they learn what the legal process is actually like. There were a couple of examples where all of you exposed some places where the witness did not have particularly good ability to see or hear, and then you stopped. I think for fear
what we want to do is give the students some standards by which they can measure their own performances. We want them to be constantly reflecting on what they're doing.
We must maintain the commitment to excellence in teaching and research that has marked our first 50 years. Increasingly, it is our alumni and friends who are providing the margin to make this commitment a reality. Together as one, we will meet the rigorous challenges that lie ahead as we strive to realize the noble vision of our predecessors.
I think UCLA definitely has been on the move toward its emergence as an intellectually predominant university.
This is a place where the future is happening today, and a student is preparing for a time in which he can be tomorrow.